asked in Discord is from Audio Dude. He's asking if there will be a POV view for all the male characters and NPCs in the game. So first of all, the game will be mainly third person. There may be a way to toggle while you're in certain, for example, sex loops POV, but this is not yet on our main focus. So for now, we won't have PoE. We will focus on third person. But at some point, there's a chance that POV will come in because the game still needs to look well in POV without breaking anything. So yeah, there's a chance. It's not yet included, but maybe in the future. So hopefully this is enough for an answer.
Yeah, then there was another question about sweating. Now we were developing a system like that. It's certainly already on our radar, but it's one of those more like nice to have features. So we have something for it in the making, but we cannot clearly say when and if it's gonna come out or in what form. Uh, but yeah, characters will probably be able to, change the moisture level of their skin based on what they do. But how detailed and technologically developed that is yeah, not we cannot say anything about that yet.
So then the annoying false drip also has a question about the pubic hair. Will there be an option to customize this on the character globally or just for player characters? Some of us like thick, untamed bush, others might not. So basically, character customizations like pubic hair or also like clothes, this is actually planned. The characters already have different types of clothes. We plan on doing also different types of hair, basically for your head, but also for the pubic. Not everyone likes shaved. A lot of people like shaved, so this will definitely be in game. Maybe also some skin changes from tattoos to whatever. We have to see how much we can fit in until our first, let's say, full release, our Goldmaster.
Yeah.
But like slight player customizations like this, which is not changing the type of the character because every character is unique with a backstory. Um, they will be there. Yes, basically, if you shave your face in the morning or not, stuff like this will be included.
Then question three, dirt maps. That's dirt maps. It would be amazing to see decals for dirt accumulating on the characters' bodies and clothes. So that's a very similar system to what the sweating is. It's something that we will be developing on the skin and cloth shaders. And yeah, it will basically give you a used up feeling on the skin by adding dirt layers and overlays that you can then wash off eventually if you step in water or something. So that's definitely something doable that we will be looking into.
All right, then again, the annoying face, the annoying faucet drip. Basically, the question is if there's like incorporate exhibition in the gameplay, if the other NPCs will react to the way you as a player behaves, like as you dress and stuff like this. Um, it will be like if you're running around a town or village or like say other NPCs, they might have different reactions to their affection level. Was doing quests, you raise affection level of an NPC, but it's not planned yet that you actually can flash them and force with this a certain kind of reaction. This is actually a pretty nice idea, but they're yet not plans for actually creating an in-game feature of exhibitionism. But I have to say, it sounds pretty interesting, the idea.
Yeah, it's
So,
definitely a cool idea.
because actually the overhead of this is not too big. First of all, we have different priorities to get the game steady to a product, let's say, where everything runs smooth, the gameplay experience is good, and then we definitely like ideas like unique ideas like this, which makes everything a little bit more alive. So this is actually pretty good call here.
Cool. Yeah, that's basically what we say. The worst said, another question, what's the main goal of the game? Will it be story-based, quest-based, or just a free roam sandbox thing? Well, it will be story quest-based, so we're currently developing the stories for our main characters, and the whole thing will be working with quests and NPCs and affection levels and different factions. So it will be like it will be very RPG in that way, not so much sandbox. So it's very much story and quest based.
So maybe let me jump on this one because I think we haven't announced it big time yet. But the game itself will we want to do it like story based. So basically, we have in the first, let's say, episode, we have like a male and a female main character, and then um, we will have another quest line where you play another character, and so on. So this is will be like how the game will grow. First, we focus on the Maya story, and this will be an RPG story driven by the Maya story. Then, um, after we have this done, we start working on the next storyline. Whose character will this be? Maybe we know, maybe we don't. Maybe you have some ideas, but this is will yeah, story-based, quest-based RPG with combat and everything related to it.
Yeah. Then Stinky asked a funny question: will there be bestiality with dogs and stuff? Now, most likely not, because this game needs to work internationally, and such a feature will just make it go in a very strange direction. So yeah, the official comment to that is no, and anything else, yeah, we will have to see.
It's also, I think maybe some of you guys heard about it. There was like a huge thing going on Patreon
Yeah,
about bestiality and also like rape, gore, etc. So we have to stay here a little bit more, and also we want to.
on the vanilla side of things.
Yes, and we actually also want to do this. Maybe I mean we still want to like give the especially the community the most what they would like to see. So there might be in the end, after we have like the full game done, a special version for the patrons, where we a little bit more go to their needs. But we still have to move in the legal side of everything.
Yeah. This the question 5 one.
Yeah, NPC should try to group the player characters when they're near them. Okay, so here's actually another point, pretty similar to the question before. Basically, like everything related to rape and also harassment, we would like to avoid this for now. So there will be like, I mean, yeah, I've seen it already. We have explicit content, but we will have like a certain borders. Maybe like a little bit could be fine, but for example, if you run around naked, there won't be a character like slapping your ass. If you're a female player or a male player, doesn't matter. So like clear harassment won't be included in the game.
Yep. Cool. Then, wait a sec, I lost chat. Question 5. Yes. Then that. Question
Let
6.
me quickly jump on the question from Stinky. So basically, like the for the bestiality. So we have the Pantheros, right? We have the Minotaur and stuff. So this is actually all right. This is pretty much a gray zone, let's say, because these beasts have like a human kind of behavior. They can talk. They walk on two legs. So it's not like like a horse or anything on a farm. It's basically a humanoid, let's say. This is a different story. So there might be a dog race, basically humanoids like the Pantherod with more dog features, but there won't be a normal dog as we know, which you can encounter and which leads to anything sexual. This is not legal to happen. And if you want to work longer on wildlife and make this a good game which actually also maybe reach a little bit wider, we have to be really careful with explicit stuff like this.
Yeah. Then just question 6 seems to be a pretty funny one. The annoying faucet trip asked if there's plans for water sports. I highly doubt that. It's not a water sport game. Um, but yeah, who knows what the future brings. So I will not say no, but I also don't say yes right now to that.
So, sorry, what is water sports? Is this
Probably
maybe
like,
some urban term which I don't know?
or could be. I'm just imagining surfing and like stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I was also like, yeah, surfing, why not?
It would be a cool thing, but we first need a wave system for that. That looks cool.
Sure.
Anyway, that's one of those dreamer questions. They're certainly
Okay,
cool.
so the next question from Bagashi. Question is, what's the lore so far? We know there are planets that is not ours. We see a spear and tribes. All right, so basically the lore right now, um, the world itself, it's basically. Steve, would you like to jump on it? It's actually,
Yeah,
I think, more your of a hard question.
cool. So basically, the law right now is that we have this unexplored planet in which there lives a whole lot of different types of native things. Like we have human tribes, we have like beastie-like tribes that they're like monster dudes, basically. And on this planet now, there is a more civilized human faction just freshly arrived there and want to explore it. So we have basically three different human factions. That is the native tribes. Then we have the scientist explorers, and then we have the raiders, which also come from off-world, but not to like explore and document this world, and more only to raid it and steal its features and sell things to the underground type thing. And basically, the whole lore is about the different characters in this setting and how they interact with each other. And then each main character will have a little story that they will go through in this big setting where a lot of different factions clash.
So basically, I will quickly add this here. The first episode, for example, was Maya. Maya is, I think everybody knows who Maya is. Maybe you guys already have seen the most recent overhaul Steve posted a few weeks ago. So, for example, Maya's storyline, which we focus on right now, as male or female, will be pretty much a little bit like Pocahontas. So she's a native. Foreign invaders come in. I will stop here, not to spoil them too much, but yeah. And there's also one faction which we still, which we didn't mention, is like the bounty hunters. But for this, there will be a small announcement on Saturday. So
Yeah, and
yeah.
it's also a very small faction, so it doesn't have much like connected characters. It's more like single characters that walk around
So it's
and do
basically
their
like,
own things.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. Do you want to take question 7, mod support, or should I?
Eh, Mod support. Um, well, it would be great to have mod support, but mod support also means releasing our source code or at least build an engine to let, and like an editor to let people, for example, create content. This would be very nice in the long run, but this won't be the case too soon, also not for the first release, because the resources we have right now on Patreon is just enough to like pay for a few people. And we have to really focus on get the game stable and steady and make it a fun product. And mod support, we would love to have mod support, but we really can't say if this will happen in the near future.
Yeah. Then Alaris, hello there. When you first introduced wildlife, you mentioned there will be horses. How are you guys going on to them? Any progress on Minotaurs? So the Minotaur is pretty far. He's basically one of the members of this beast man tribe. About horses, we really don't know where to go with them. They're probably going to be mounts for uh, the tribal people or something. But the technical complexions with a horse and a rider is, yeah, it's definitely something for the further future. And yeah, we really can't say much about horses right now in terms of what they will be doing in the game. And if your question was more relating to horse bestiality, like the Stinky's one, yeah, then take that same answer for now. So that's that. No question regardless.
Okay,
The
then
next question is
next.
from Alarius again.
Wait. Where are we?
Will there be some option to customize male characters, changing sizes, colors, and stuff like that?
Okay. Yeah, so basically it's similar to the pubic hair, right? I mean, when we have a male and the male character is like fit to the story, we have a certain idea about the character. So maybe have like a huge dick or not. I think this is not very let's say very important for the story progression, but so there might be you will be able to have like slight changes. But for example, you know Bull and you know Jason, right? These two characters are like pretty much different in body size. I have to say I wouldn't mind if there's like different kinds of penises. This we still have to see because this is also for the animation. Something we have to solve because another penis means another angle, so the animation needs to fit. Um, so we have to see. We can't say for sure. Yeah.
Cool. Then
So
Stinky made a little comment. Need more big titty females. Sure, Doug. Uh, we'll probably add some slight variation that you can customize for boob size, but yeah, we'll have to see where. I mean, we're definitely not going to deliberately go into this incredibly huge boobs, like size X, double L, or whatever it's called. Um, but yeah, a little variation in boob sizes we will have. But it depends basically what do you mean with big titty females and what I mean with big titty females.
So maybe I will jump on here again. So everyone have to understand we have a certain idea about where we want to be with wildlife as our first gold master. That means the first running game, the first let's say a game which you can say this it's finished as it is, and we will keep developing the game after we reach this state. But this state, like reaching this, let's say, gold master, is our first priority to make a complete game. And for example, also with character customization, when we won't have stuff at the point where we say, okay, the game is done now and it's working, we still can implement it. But all this implementation, customization to make it like super double XL or X boobs, this is not the priority right now. I mean, the big boobs, okay, but I think you mean this huge milky tits, right? From the anime shots, and you see, like this 50 kilogram ones.
Yeah.
So yeah, this may be for the future, but yes.
It would certainly be something that if we implement it in the future, it will be left to the users. We probably won't add stuff that is that crazy to a core character, but if you want to customize it, and if we have that feature available by then, which could be in 1.5, maybe 2 years, it depends basically how we progress. Uh, but yeah. Then Raster 1990 asked the question: will there be explosions?
Yes.
Probably, yeah, dude. I mean, it depends what we do, but explosions are cool. Everybody loves explosions.
Maybe also lens flare or two.
Yes, and some. All right.
Maybe you can hire Michael Bay to
Yeah,
spice it up a little bit.
yeah, but all right. We went a bit sarcastical here, but the answer is yes. I really can't see having explosions in one way or another. Depends. Maybe some characters have grenade launchers or something, or vehicles that you can ride and explode. There's a lot of things that we could do with explosions, so it's definitely not a question that we can answer with a yes or a no. It's just gonna happen eventually.
Okay, so next question is from Alarius4. Another question, threesomes, gangbangs, scenes planned? Yes.
Yeah. Now the thing with these threesomes and gangbangs and stuff like that is that they are extremely complicated to animate because you have multiple actors that all need to interact with the group, and everybody needs to know a spot. The animation needs to sync with all the other actors. And if we have like just more than one sex position for a threesome or a gangbang or so, every actor that's involved needs the according position as well. So the amount of animation work that this involves is just incredibly huge. That doesn't mean
Yeah,
we're not going to do it. It only means that it's going to be a later thing that we will add gradually to the project.
it's basically a question of resources. If we can hire an animator to animate gangbangs, now, right now. But this is not a priority. We plan to do it, but yeah, so let's hope that the team grows in the future and we can, yeah, do fun stuff like this. So it's basically planned. We have to have the resources.
Yeah. Stinky asked, I like shaved. What percent is it done? That's very hard to say, man. Shaved or unshaved thing it depends how we implement it. Currently, we have it embedded in the texture, which then would be a texture overlay for if it's there or not. And basically, that's just somewhat done. It just needs to be getting the resources for that. So it's done when it's done. That's what I can say. But it will happen eventually.
All right.
Stella, I will go
So
to the bathroom while you reply to that real
yeah.
quick.
So, considering the fact you introduced poses, are you guys maybe planning on a full posable feature? Second question, you guys introduced nice clothing items, planning making more cosmetic items and rings, earrings. Okay, question one, considering the fact that you introduced poses, are you maybe planning on full posable feature? So what do you mean with posable feature? That you can have a character view where you can change the poses of the character and just look at it, or like, because if you have unlocked a sex scene or you progress through the game and you have like sex scenes, you can basically decide what kind of sex scenes will happen. So this is pretty much already choosing a pose, if I understand you right. So it would be nice to get a little bit input from here to get the question right. So maybe you will write something. I will just jump on the second questions. Yes, there will be like customization and cosmetic items like rings, earrings, and stuff like this. Um, yeah, this is just content creation. If we have set up a system for it, this will be the case. We're actually thinking about like having different clothes or maybe also accessories to have an impact on the affection with NPCs you interact with. This is definitely planned. It's not yet in game, but we plan on do this. This will be happening. So this will be also part of the game because in an RPG, as you know, you will have a certain kind of reward. We know like in a sex game, reward is a big topic. Sex is a big topic as reward, but yeah, there might be items which can unlock at a different character, like other affection slash sex interactions. So this is basically planned to have items and for cosmetic, but also with in-game, let's say, impact.
Yeah. Then the annoying faucet drip asked another very technical question here. How will com be handled? Persistent bukake decals on characters? We really don't know yet. I have made several experiments on a lot of different ways to handle com. Uh, None of that really was like the go-to solution. So we're still exploring our possibilities there. it's certainly a feature that is very important in the game at some point, sooner rather than later. But right now, we have other priorities that we will have to sort out first. But are definitely talking to effects artists that could help us out in this regard. But for right now, we really don't know how we will be handling COM in the future.
This is again like the question of resources. Right now, we have like um, a lot of people actually have already put their hands on wildlife. We have like 4 full-time people, including Steve and me, with the page and money we have right now. At the level of quality we're working with, it's actually not juniors working on the game, and unfortunately, nobody is working for free. But we have like planning on like investing ourselves or getting investment in to actually help growing the project, that we increase the speed we actually develop everything. So yeah, but again, this is a question of resources when this will be implemented. Like Steve said, we have to tackle it anyways, because sex without cum, or fluids, let's say, because there might be female with female or male with male, we don't know,
Yeah.
is definitely a must-have. But yes, right now we just can't put a price tag on it. Just for a second to come back to Stella, because she explained the question. With the posing feature, do you mean like posing the character and create own animations, or just like moving the character in a pose where you think, hey, this looks good, and then move the camera around it? Because right now we didn't talk about it. From my understanding, this is a whole new feature, because it's an in-game editor, which needs to be built, that the player will be able to create their own poses and stuff. So we have to look into this. I can't say anything to it because we haven't
Yeah, it's
like.
also a question of resources that goes quite a long way because the rigs that we have are very complicated, and building your own poses with all the bones that are involved needs some way to automate that in the engine, which is something that we haven't developed just yet. So doing that, yeah, it has a lot more to think about than what you might think it does. So it's definitely something that we will be looking into in the future once the game reaches a state where a lot of other more important things work the way we want to.
So the next question is, will it be like Skyrim? To a certain extent, yes, but here we have to be very clear again. Skyrim is a project which handled a plain development cost of, I think it was like 3 digits in million, so like 150 million. I'm not sure, like pretty high, and like 3 years of, or even 8 years, super long time in development time. So my point is, we will have an open world RPG. So it will be a little bit like Skyrim, but content wise, Skyrim you can spend like hundreds of hours. You have like a super meta level skill system and what's not. So and this is actually what made the game so expensive and took a long time to develop. Uh, so kind of yes, but like the baby version.
Yeah, let's
So
put it
we
like
have to
this.
see.
It will be the same genre as Skyrim, but it will not be Skyrim.
Yes, exactly.
Then Stinky made a funny comment here. What about anthropomorphic dog people? Now, yeah, they could look similar to the Minotaur or to one of our other beastie characters that we have right now. So basically, yes, we will be making them in a way that they have character and an own mind, so that they can have a fully human mind that you can interact with. But yeah, that's definitely in.
So, and to how many races will be? Actually, we're still thinking about what kind of races we can implement. We have like a few pretty nice ideas, which we are actually already working on. There might be even more. So this is also a good point for our patrons, or for everyone who's interested to send us some ideas. The best way is email or through Patreon. So we don't know yet. There will be more, and yeah, hopefully there will be lots. We have to see. We have some good ideas, like I said already, and
Yeah,
you you will see.
cool. Then Rasta 1990, like working from World of Warcraft. Yes and no. It's gonna be our own design, so it's not really much like that. But in a way, I don't. I really don't know the organs from World of Warcraft. I don't know what they are.
I
Uh,
think he asked the question when I was talking about like the bestiality. So
all right.
it's pretty much the Pentarods are like the Worgans from World of Warcraft.
Okay, but the organs are also like very animalistic in behavior, aren't they?
Well, they still have a
Or do they have speech
human mind.
and everything?
Yeah, they have.
All right, yeah. Then that's basically it. How about a censored version on Steam with an uncensored patch? Yep, something. We'll figure something like that out. That's basically pretty much a no-brainer for everybody in this kind of industry. So yeah, something like that would be happening.
Okay, we have to scroll down a little bit to where I wrote Rasta 1990. Will there be a Centaurus? There is already a Centaurus in the latest build.
Wait,
So a
Centaur?
Minotaurus. Sorry, Minotaurus. Centaurus.
That's like half horse,
Okay.
half man.
Yeah, I
Or
think this is a pretty. I don't think so. I don't think so
no?
because we talked with a lot of like other people, other creators, not only patrons, but people who are involved in the like porn and sex industry. And the main problem is actually not and like not only that this is an animal body, but also the most issue is the genitalia. So basically, having a horse penis is a real issue here. Even more of an issue that's actually the penis is like attached to a horse, which is also a problem. But so I doubt it. Maybe when we reach a point, or maybe like in a year, everything cools off a little bit and stuff like this is a little bit more liberate.
I
And
mean, the other
but
thing is a centaur is like a hardcore mythological creature. It's a weird, biologically impossible merge between a human and a horse, which certainly makes not a lot of sense in the wildlife universe. So if we want to make something like a centaur, it would certainly be in a different project.
all right, so. There won't be. So the question about pregnancy, we had it a lot on our Patreon side, like people asking for pregnancy. Um, we won't include pregnancy.
Uh,
So this is pretty straight. I know it's like a lot of people would like to see it, but there won't be pregnancy in the game.
it wouldn't make a lot of sense if you are in this wild world and you happen to fuck around with another NPC and eventually you have a big fucking belly and you have to survive in the wild and then you get give birth and then what happens then? You quit your job and become a home mom, stay-at-home mom. It makes no much sense in this setting if we want to keep it somewhat immersive.
And also the point is, I mean, everything we say, like, okay, this might be come into the game, is actually when we're really thinking about doing this at some point. But I know like everybody has their own fetishes, and it would be the best playground to like give everyone what they like. But it's just not working if we like do everything, and so we decided to like draw a certain line about a few topics,
Right.
and pregnancy is also under these.
So, I mean, but it's the same like with the centaurs. Maybe one of our future projects could be a mythology breeding game in which you have to breed centaurs or some shit. Uh,
Exactly. So basically, if everything goes well, like wildlife won't be our own game. But
our
what I
only
do right
game.
now is talk. Yeah, yeah, not our only game. But right now, we're talking about wildlife, and there won't be pregnancy involved.
Mm. Character customization from TAF091. I think we talked about that before. Yes, to some extent, there will be character customization. Um, how deep that goes, it depends very much on some technical things and how much we want to change designed characters. Maybe we will give you a template character that you can do a bit more customization on. But to make that, we need to make sure that our technology works with a certain level of character customization, like what you probably want to have here. That's certainly something for the further future and not for right now.
All right, then we are here. This is basically the same question from Hilarious. Michael Bay. Tentacles. Actually, I'm a huge fan of tentacles.
Oh, me too, man.
But here again, like we also have like kind of stuff we want to do, but um, with everything going away from or too much away from a certain uh, white line, let's say, can cause trouble in the long run. So we hope we find ways to actually do this and not risking that everything will blow and this whole project dies because we cross a certain border. So we really have to see. Also, just to because it's the same question about the Minotaur, because you said, like Larry said, doesn't down below that they have the same kind of penis. It's actually right now a problem that the Centaur and also the Pantherod, for example, if we release on Nutaku, maybe you guys know Nutaku, we are not allowed to have any non-human genitalia. So there are already problems. So also with Patreon, because it's actually not the platforms, also like Steam, which doesn't allow it. It's like the credit institutes, the banks. They don't want it. And if a bank, for example, PayPal or a credit card or whatever you can pay online, and they say this is not in our criteria, we won't allow this, then you're fucked. And if Patreon comes to the point that hey, bestiality is basically already when you have a beast penis, then boom, it's like gone. So we have to be very careful not to like cross certain borders right now. So we won't put any focus on this until we know this is going to be all right. So this is, yeah, we have to be careful.
Yeah.
And so we would like to, we would love to have tentacles, but yeah, we have to see.
Yeah, we will figure out some way that work, but it will take time. And but you, uh, yeah, you know now that we also like that kind of stuff, and we would like to have it in one way or another. Then the next question from Hilarious: tattoos, body texts, options. What is body textures? You mean? Yeah, I mean, I think we mentioned something like that briefly before. That we could have some sort of like body texture modifications. Like some characters can have different tattoos or body paints or whatever that means. So yeah, that would then be a feature in the skin shader that we will be developing.
Yeah, the next question is, will be the closing damage in combat? Yeah, we actually want to do this. We have to. This again is we have to see how far we can take because everything needs to be done. But this would be really cool. Also, having some kind, if you get like damaged by whatever, that we have like some blood FX, and maybe the clothes will be like bloody until you patch up yourself. So this is what we actually plan on doing, but not in the next few weeks or months. This will be like first we need to make the game working, and then we will do our best to put this content on to make it awesome, more awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, then Stella, I think we covered Stella's thing there.
Yeah, this already
Yeah.
answered the question before.
Yeah, then the annoying faucet drip sent us a quick link for full body IK system. Yep, full body IK is certainly something that we are looking into as well, and I'm aware of all of these things already. We're just evaluating which one is the best because there's quite a few different full body IK plugins, but we're on that, so don't worry, man.
Okay, so basically the penis size wouldn't matter or what at some point.
No, maybe not that level of detail. It's more like you can grab an arm and lift it up or push the body a bit further away. Some things like that.
Because for my understanding as an animator, change or even working with IK, yeah, could work to a certain extent, but basically like changing the penis shape too greatly will definitely affect how the whole body works, because you have a certain angle to
Yeah, I
pass
mean, but
in a
this
lot of
IK question
animations.
wasn't relating to penis size. It was
I,
more
I, I think I
general
think he
body.
wrote it. I think he wrote it when I was talking about this topic.
But it's like for accurate character interaction, you couldn't. It could be, I don't know, but I mean it's all just one huge topic that we need to explore more.
Yeah. Okay, so because these questions right now were asked while we were talking about certain topics, right now it's pretty hard to follow which question was relating to what topic. So, for example, next question. So, what are the guys on focus, combat system, and item and gears? Aloris, yes, we are. Basically, the basic RPG elements will be included in our game. IO development. And may I just answer the second one too, because it's pretty straight answering there.
Just go ahead.
We're doing it full time. Basically, creating a game and the content itself is like very demanding time wise. Just as an idea, there might be there will be tomorrow announcement. There might be a new character. We don't know. I just want to spoil too much. But for example, if you have a professional who, for example, worked on the Crisis games, which he actually did as a character artist, working as a real fast professional, a character with clothing, textures, low poly, he actually needs like, let's say 25 man days. One man day means 8 hours a day. So it's basically working days. So it's more than actually a month he needs. And character artists, if you don't employ them fully, they work on a daily rate. So yeah, it's
Means they
just not
can
to forget.
cost hundreds of euros per day, and yeah, you can do the maths from there.
Yep. So basically, my point is we have to work on full time as much as possible. We try to involve people as much as possible to work on full time, reach a certain quality. We are working full time. There are 4 people right now working on it full time. There will be more, and yeah, I got a little bit sidetracked here.
Yeah. Werewolves, the question, that was more like Ed's thinking. Yeah, something like that could definitely happen. We don't know exactly how well we will be implementing that, but yeah, I've been making some technical experiments with transformations and stuff. More to just playing around, but who knows what kind of feature we implement with that in the future.
All right. So we are at Audio Dude right now, right?
Yeah. Succubus.
Succubus, sure, why not? We have a beast. The thing is, we created the world that we can also, like in the long run, let's say we still work in 3 years, creating whole new characters we're not thinking about right now, or even earlier, it doesn't matter. And if this fits into the game, which could be, we don't know yet, like or certain kind of succubus, why not? Why not?
I mean, that's a very important point, because the world in which this place is like quite designed, and a succubus, which is a very, I don't know, it's like a biblical mythological creature, which from a like hardcore biological point of view is gonna be tricky to explain. It's one of those things when it becomes too like, yeah, we just need to make sure that it fits the whole universe it's in.
We have a certain idea about, as you may notice, about the whole universe, but this is also, as I said, certain kind of. So we have to see. So maybe there will be some voodoo at some point, or some some stuff like this, and then I mean succubus is like sucking off life energy, right?
Yeah.
So maybe kind of we have to see.
Yeah, it would be our very own definition of a succubus, maybe. Sweet question answered. One more from me. You guys are adding weapons like spears, I've seen. Will there be firearms? If yes, please consider making a desert eagle. Uh, sure. I mean, it's certainly something because we have here two like very different cultures clashing. It's basically tribals that only work with like wood and whatever they find in the wild nature, and very technologically advanced people with all the machines that you can imagine, and it's also guns and shit. Now, having guns in the game, we need to make sure that if we add them, they are very balanced compared to whatever else you can use as a tribal. Even though the gun just is going to own anything else that's in the game, we need to make sure it's somewhat balanced and somewhat feels not overpowered if you use a gun over anything else. That's a very, very tricky question, but yeah, eventually we could add guns like that. It depends. It's a fantasy game, so maybe we'll have a fantasy version of a DA, Desert Eagle. Uh, but yeah, that is it.
All right, then we had Stinky. He says nice.
Yeah.
Will it be possible to speedrun the game? Yeah, basically, you have a last quest, right? And you have a certain start in the game, so it won't be sandboxed. So if you want, you can put a watch next to your keyboard and yeah, do a speedrun if you like.
Yeah, try to get all the quests through as fast as you can. Tentacles, question mark. Yeah, we talked about tentacles. We love them. We will see what we can do about that.
Yeah, the Minotaur thing I already answered. This was also relating. I was relating to this before. We love straight. Home Mom Simulator should be your next game. Maybe. We don't know.
Sure.
Especially for Stinky, you get
Yeah.
your very own. Only you are allowed to play it.
Not my
Hilarious, I
problem.
guess game mods, so something there works out, certainly hope. Yeah, sure, like I said, game mods would be nice. First, we have to have all the features done we want to do. And once everything is done and we actually can concentrate on like putting all our energy and resources on creating content, there will be a time where we'll seriously consider mod support.
Yeah. What question was that?
I guess mod support will solve some time later if it works out, because
Yeah.
like from before.
Sure. Then the next question from Audio Dude: will you hire voice actresses in the future? Hell yes. We're already looking into available sources of any kind. So yeah, definitely our characters will be voice acted. It's a huge chunk of work that's involved there, but yeah, it will definitely add a lot of coolness to the game.
Yep, we're already talking to a few porn-related people. So yeah, there will be voice actors. If everything turns out good, they will be from known porn stars, maybe also from the community if the quality is alright. So if anyone wants to moan into the microphone, send us some samples to Steve, please,
Yeah.
or to me.
Do you want to take the important question from Alarius?
The important question for me, I was thinking about being able to buy the game in cryptocurrencies. This question is, basically, for example, we plan on giving, first of all the people who pledged a certain amount, which won't be too high, will get the first copy of the game. Not boxed, of course, but digitally. But with Bitcoin, it's basically depending on what kind of platforms we're going to sell the game. For example, if we sell it on Steam, Nutaku, DMM, it highly depends if these people actually have Bitcoin or as a currency which they accept. So we won't have our own system to sell the game, because this would evolve again. So we have to set up a system. We have to make contracts with, for example, services who support PayPal, etc. So this is a huge, let's say red tail. I don't know if you say it also in English, but it depends on the platforms we want to sell. We won't have our own platform because this is like crazy amount of resources we have to put on there to create this, and so depends. I mean, Bitcoin, a lot of people talking about it. I think most sites will support it already or in the near future. So
Yeah, it would
depends.
be cool. Then body text, Ketra commented, body text is writing on body. I see. Uh, so you can write on the body, but what's the point of it? Maybe you can design your own tattoos that just are text and slap them on. Maybe that works. It doesn't sound too advanced in terms of technical implementation, but we'll have to see. It's certainly one of the, if ever, nice to have things.
Okay, next question is, will Maya have any more semi-beast transformations? I think we talked about it a lot, and we came up to the conclusion that what would be cool, even especially if we do like releasing storylines with dedicated characters, that maybe the characters, or let's say the next character storyline, not Maya, the one afterwards, have a different treat. So Maya's ability is to fly.
So that's
And
basically it. Like Maya has her feathers, and if she wants to fly, she can use them to fly. There will be other characters with other abilities, and some of them will be similar, some of them will be quite different. But yeah, there will be more things like that for other characters eventually. Uh, the next question from Audio Dude: what do you think about Babylon Project? I have no idea what that is. Chris, do you know?
nope, I actually dodged the question to have it you to answer because I don't know either.
Well, I don't know. I just said no. I don't know.
No,
Maybe
yeah,
he
I know.
maybe he can explain it in a bit right now. Then the next
Okay.
question from Alaris: some basic professions planned, something like leatherworking, tailoring, which would be allowed to make your own clothes. That sounds like a very big thing in terms of game feature. Uh, I was thinking, or we were thinking about professions, but not to such extent. It's more like you can go fish. Basically, you just go to the shore, and then it's like a mini game in the game where you can like catch fish with your spear, something like that, or cooking maybe. Uh, but like leatherworking and tailoring your own things, that's like huge. I think. I imagine it would be huge.
Yeah, so basically, just to make it clear again, right now we plan on a realistic resources we can, like what we can achieve, like within the next year, let's say with the end of 2018, we plan having our first Maya story completed if everything works out.
Yeah.
So afterwards, for example, if we sell the game and we get like cash in and we can scale up, kind of stuff like this will definitely be planned and evaluated. But for now, we just not going too much complex here because we need to make the experience round and solid first, and
Yeah.
then we scale up and create more complex stuff and new features with all the next updates or episodes.
That's it.
So will there be shotguns? Maybe. We have to see with a range combat. I mean, we have the spear already in game, so I think we haven't talked about shotguns yet. Maybe we will do later on. Let's see.
Yeah. Alaris then asked if this game will be multiplayer. No, it will not. That's something that we decided on very early because making a game of this scope multiplayer basically triples the already huge amount of work. Because all the things you need to take care of in multiplayer are just too big for us right now. We want to make a game that works and feels nice for everybody himself first or herself, And maybe in the future with our next project, we can make something like wildlife multiplayer or whatever it's called. Wildlife, I don't know. But multiplayer is just huge, and we really do not want to deal with it right now.
Yep, the backend is just crazy. I mean, there are plugins for the Unreal, but it's again the same with the Unreal blueprints. It can work on a small scope, very very easy and fast, but making
Yeah.
the dedicated multiplayer is like crazy lots of work. We have to hire at least for a long time 1 to 2 backend coding guys to have because people need to have accounts, save their files. We have to have servers and whatnot. It's a lot of work involved.
Yeah.
All right. So will the combat system will be situation based, or can you detect with any threat or entity present? What do you mean, like Final Fantasy, when you encounter an enemy and the combat triggers, Henrik?
I think what he means is like, with like lots of regular RPGs and stuff, you have your character, and when you click attack, no matter what's in front of you, you'll just perform an attack move. I think you're asking that, and if that's the case, then yes. That's pretty much how we were. If you click attack, you'll attack, no matter what's in front of you. And depending on what's in front of you, the situations will emerge. If you have an NPC that's very neutral to you and you just go to him and slap him, I might fight back, and then you have a fight on yourself. That's basically how it's gonna work. Water
All
sports
right.
meant urine stuff. I see. Okay, so no surfing. Jeez.
So pad controllers. For now, we working on keyboard and mouse controls, but we are aware that a lot of people, like also on the PC, like to play with a gamepad. So yeah, we are definitely going to look at it in the future.
Yeah. Just to get at the annoying faucet drip thing once again with the urine stuff. It sounds like it could be a dual little thing that, if you've drank some water, eventually your character can urine if you want to, and it's just like an animation that triggers. I don't know, but it probably wouldn't have a lot of meaning in the game, and it might be able to turn off if people don't want to have to deal with that. But it sounds like a funny little thing that could just add a little bit to the realism of the character's behavior if you have to piss and shit every now and then after you eat. But yeah, it's it's
So
uh it's a nice to have. That's all.
so basically, the next question from Candlejack 1917: will you be able to tie people up? Why not? Because if we create a character who's totally into shibari, it's a Japanese form of tying up people and getting dominated. This is totally legit. So, like stuff like this should be alright, as long as not you're going to like knock out a little girl and start tying her up and then rape
Yeah.
her.
For example,
So
if you let me just jump in. If for example one of the NPCs gives you a quest to get some other NPC to him for whatever reason, maybe he just ran away or whatever, and you find them, you can capture them and bring them back to whoever other NPC wants them. That could also be a thing.
yeah, and like tying up as a fetish. So basically, what is like a moral line we draw? The sex needs to be both parties need to be willing to have sex,
What's the
and
word
if
for
the
that?
characters characters are like into tying up, if the character says like, "Hey, please tie me up," maybe we have like shibari in game. We have to see but this is also for the future.
Con. It's something with con. Con. Yeah, but you guys know what we mean. Something with con. People tie up. Will I be able to kill every NPC in the game with impunity? No, that's a very complicated question. It depends how we design the quest system, and if, for example, if there's a very important quest giver NPC that gives you a quest that is relevant to you finishing the game, and you kill him beforehand, what happens then? So that's something that we need to figure out. How do we handle these types of things?
And it's also like in games such as Dark Souls or Bloodborne, basically if you kill a future quest giver, other quests might have a different impact. So basically, this is a part of the game. We really have to see because it's like putting as like making the lore way bigger.
Yeah, it
Because
just
you have
adds a
like
whole lot of complexity to the quest system.
yeah, we want to make it as complex as possible, but first of all, we need to make it fun,
Yeah,
and then
we need to make
from
it fun.
there we will go into complexity. Okay, then personal. Okay, this is a user question. Mechanics like bleeding, carrying. You mean like okay? So this whole stealth game feature, like I don't know, Splinter Cell or Metal Gear Solid. This is also like it won't be in for now. It's also not planned for the first release. But all these kind of features, let's say, because maybe the bounty hunter, if we have the episode of the bounty hunter, he can do it, and this is a feature we release especially with this episode. Could be, but not for the first
release.
Yes.
The Malaria said Steam was supporting Bitcoin. They cancelled it because of fees, but it will potentially Ethereum and Bitcoin. Yeah, that's later. There's a lot of obscure things coming up and becoming meta, but who knows? Unless that thing is like really set in stone, we won't be touching obscure stuffs. But yeah, I mean, it depends. Maybe all of these things become like a thing, and then we will just use them. But until then,
okay. Yeah. Okay, the next question, dedicated question to us, is from Stellar. I think these the others are like talking in the community. So she asked, I need to drink a little bit of water.
Yeah.
This is a very good question. Actually, we want to, for example, if a patron pledged, let's say the game will be like $20 in the store, and we have patrons who pledged like $20 already. If it's like 4 times $5 or 1 time 25, or like 20 times $1, they should. We plan on getting them a copy. We have to.
If your lifetime support is greater than the final price of the delivered game, then you will get the copy for free.
Yes. So this is what we want to do. Yeah. So we plan on making this happen by the end of 2018. If everything goes well, we want to have our game in Steam on other platforms as well. At this point, there will be a lot of counting numbers, but or maybe we make a post and people have to approach us like, "Hey, I pledged more than $20," and then we will verify it. There's no feature on Patreon, right? To see like a graph. But anyways, yeah, we're planning on giving out copies for the people who reached with their pledges the cost of the game.
Yeah. And I think the next Stinky was asking this question: what percentage of the game is done? That's very hard to say at this point, but it's probably a very small percentage yet. But yeah, it's hard to say because it depends how you count it, by the amount of time it takes us to complete a certain thing, by the amount of features, or by the cost that it's taken so far, or any other. There's a lot of different things how you can calculate the completion level of a game, and on all levels we're still at the very beginning of things.
All right. So
I don't know. Just to reply again, how much the game will cost once released. We were imagining between 20 and 30 as a ballpark. I don't think we will make you pay 50 things for a game.
No, it won't be. It's just basically consider it similar to the indie games on Steam. I'm not talking about the €1 games on Steam, but yeah, like $20 to $30. So what percentage of the game is done? Good question.
I just replied to that.
Okay.
Take
Um,
Katra's question, how frequently do we expect major updates?
yeah, so basically we're planning on in January. We want to release our first rebuild build. That means with everything we pretty much hacked with blueprints together in the last tech demos, let's say, together with a basic quest system. And so basically we start in January releasing a new build, and from there on we will start releasing each month like our progress with
As
new
well as we
features we're
can.
working on.
Yeah.
Exactly. So pretty much today we are releasing a roadmap. There you can see what features, etc., needs to be done until the end of 2018. So you get an idea of how big everything actually is. And in January, with the first build release, we also release a roadmap for the next builds, considering the roadmap we post today. That means in January, you will get the map where you can see which features are planned for what month to be released in the builds, in the patron builds.
Yep, that's how we roll. Lupinix asked the question, will there be clothing damage? I think something like that has been asked before. Just a quick reply, yeah. Some, maybe not damage in itself, but we will be looking into ways to make the clothing feel like there and reacting to the environment and to what you do with it. So if it's dirt, if it's like opacity masks that pop up and certain things rip away, something like that will happen eventually.
And for Hilarious, we're actually not rushing at all. Well, we are rushing, but we don't put quantity over quality. And this you will also see, like within the next builds, that we actually think a lot to keep a certain level of quality. And this is also what we have. What is our goal? Like, we want to make a game which is made by professionals and looks professional. So the game, the first release should be like the end of 2018. There we want to have the features complete of the first, let's say, core game, our pillar of all the future episodes. And yeah, so this will be by 2018, and it will be depending on how good we will resources wise, money wise, we can make it. If we get $10 million for Christmas, which is not happening, but just as an idea, we could hire more people and make this basic game could have more features involved. But we already have good people on it. The coders working on it. We are creating a lot of features, and we will make it in a good quality that we say this is a good core game for the end of 2018, and this game will be sold by the end of 2018. And game development stuff can happen, so it could be early 2019, or a meteorite crashes in our office and everything is gone. So we plan on 2018, yes. End of 2018.
Okay, Rasta asked, will there be Bethesda style glitches in the game? Yeah, there's quite some meme glitches for Skyrim and shit. And what's the sort of Fallout? Now we cannot promise to have a completely glitchless game. Obviously, we will have glitches in the game that you guys will discover as you go. Maybe we smuggle in or leave some very funny ones in on purpose just so you can find and laugh about it. But yeah, the games will have a couple of glitches, and our tasks then will be to sort them as we and you find them.
All right.
Let me quickly take that next one for fast travel. Now, probably not. The game world is supposed to be 8 by 8 kilometers, which doesn't sound like much, but if you walk around, it's a lot. But each character at some point in his storyline will get a feature or an ability to move faster. Like Maya gets her wings. Other characters might get something like a motorcycle, depending on where they come from, or a speeder, or a mount, or So there will be always something for the character to move a little bit faster in the world eventually. That basically would make fast travel more or less redundant, I think. But it depends. If the game, after all, ends up feeling too slow, too long journeys through empty areas, then we will add fast traveling in one way or another. But right now, I don't see the necessity for it.
Okay, will you guys make your own website with flash building? Yeah, sure. Basically, will be tagged in the future. There will be a website. There is already a Twitter and a Tumblr. This is from Steve, the one. But there will be a wildlife website, and yeah, we think right now the money we get from Patreon we use on putting on resources like coding or character artists or what's not. So I think right now it's not that important, but it will be important at some point mid of next year.
Yeah, I mean, like creating a website doesn't cost much if you use one of these like what's it called, these like template things on the online. So we will probably make a website soon. It will not have like the greatest functionality and look. It will just be like there and let you know a couple of things that maybe Patreon uh, doesn't have, or in addition to Patreon parallel. But yeah, it's just like that.
I mean, basically, Patreon is right now our website, let's say, for now.
Yeah, pretty much.
For the time being.
So Stinky asked this question: how will come be done? The question has been asked before. We don't know yet. We have done a lot of tests and technical evaluations, but yeah, we just don't know yet. But we will do it in eventually. So come will be done. We just don't know how yet.
For Hendrik with the climbing and swimming mechanics and even parkour free running, this again comes to the point not in this first stage of the game, but eventually in the future. So it highly depends on how the first stage, the first release will work out. But we do have plans for this.
I mean, swimming probably will be in the first release. Maybe not diving like underwater, but swimming on the water surface is not a hard thing to do. But stuff like climbing, that what do you mean by climbing? Climbing on trees, on walls, on ledges, up ropes, down ladders. There's a ton of stuff involved for climbing, so that's certainly something that will happen later for at a different stage, not right now.
I mean, best example for climbing is, I don't know if you guys played PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. They had a real hard time to make the climbing feel right. They took like 5 months with a whole team dedicated to creating this vaulting system. Because it's not only the system itself, it's also the animations and the height of the object. So, yeah, it's not that easy. Especially PlayerUnknown has it way easier because they have like buildings and each floor has a certain height from all the buildings. Expect a few differences and more unique ones, but yeah, this is not for now, but yeah.
Then Stinky made a nice thing which is just poopy. Nice. Raster 1990 asked, will there be ragdoll physics? Now there already are ragdoll physics in the game. They kick in when you get hit hard or just die. The ragdoll is still a bit glitchy, and it has become even glitchier after we updated it to the latest game engine version. But yes, there certainly will be ragdoll physics, and we will be working on making those look nice and feel good.
To audio dudes with Epic Games, actually, like most of the games, and even like the VR games for porn, which are like already, if you Google, you see some, are done by Unreal. So they basically have no problem. At least if you hit a certain point on revenue, they want to have their share. So it's not a problem with the Unreal Engine. Actually, we had already contact with before. I don't know if you read the story, but Steve and I are doing this for a little bit longer now with a different kind of project, which not is going to happen. But yeah, the Unreal guys are pretty much fine with the content as long you don't cross certain borders again.
Well, the thing is, it's not too much about the borders. It's more about how you. So from what I've read in because Unreal Engine has like a public relation things going on, and their biggest condition for you to use the Unreal Engine is that if you make some projects that have controversial content, you do not use their logo to advertise for your game. That's all they want, and we're not using that, so that's it.
And we are also not crossing the borders I was referring to.
Yeah. Then Stinky asked any porn games you guys like. Now I have to be honest, because we're developing this full time, I don't really have much time to like play other porn games because yeah, it just never happens. I couldn't really tell you. I mean, there's a couple of projects right now in development that I find really interesting, like for example Mythos 59 ones or 56, sorry Mythos, um, or like the Vert Mate thing, but we haven't really spent too much time like playing other games out of interest. It's a
Well,
hard thing to say.
well, I was like 2 years ago in Japan. They asked me to buy some games from Illusion. I don't know if you know Illusion games. It's like Sexy Beach. Most recent one is I think Honey Select. So these kind of games we, for at least for me, I have to say I really like the Illusion games and like the Galga games in general, the Japanese ones. But yeah, no, I think Steve too, totally enjoy Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball.
Yeah.
Best porn game ever.
It's just over 4 miles. Yeah, okay, that Rasta made the 4 miles. 8 kilometers is 4 miles. Yeah, you guys figure that out with your own
We are
measurements.
we are Europeans.
Yeah.
We don't know miles.
Rocket League, I got nothing else to ask. Do you just want to make sure the builds already has Minotaurs, right? Yeah.
Maker support? Question mark.
Will you guys think about maker support for crowdfunding to make us? It looks like it's a crowdfunding platform.
Yep.
They give more money to the creators than Patreon. I've never heard of maker support, to be honest. Might be worth having a look.
All right, we check this out definitely after we are done here. Next question is zombies. Again, like tentacles. I am the most huge, the biggest zombie nerd ever. Steve, I think as well. So if it fits into the game, nah, I don't know.
It
But
probably
would be
won't
fun.
fit in the game, but maybe yes, maybe there's like some kind of sickness that makes people behave like zombies. It depends. It would be like a whole storyline for a whole different. It's a huge probably thing that could work, or maybe you just add it as a like a core content of the game, like you can get sick with zombie this or some shit. But yeah, let me just
Yeah, so
quickly say what.
I just want to say, so basically, this is why we want to create this episode kind of approach, because in each episode we come up with new features together with you guys. So maybe there will be an episode regarding, like for example, with Red Dead Redemption, they also had this zombie arc, this DLC. So maybe some kind like this. So one character storyline will be involving some kind of disease which is spreading. We don't know yet, but possible.
Let me quickly squeeze in a question that came from the Picardo chat. Basically, G-Man Alpha is asking, will there be lowly type characters, or is that one of those lines you can't cross? I would say it's one of the lines that we can't cross, so we
Definitely
will
not.
not have lowly characters.
This is a huge problem, and you have to understand it. I have to say, I don't like it. I don't care if other people like it or not. It's up to them. But we won't also in the future create lowly content.
Yeah, I wouldn't think, I wouldn't say that it's a thing that we're interested in, and yeah, because of other reasons, we probably just won't make it.
I can say from my side, I'm not into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, next question from the Discord. What's we got? RuneScape, Honeyslay, Mythos.
The Boss as Fuck soundtrack. I think yes.
Yeah, we have already our sound guy who writes music. He is a really sick guy from Singapore. He does kick-ass stuff. He actually made the in-game sound from our tech demos, and but he didn't spend too much time on this. But he is going to create a dedicated soundtrack for our game, which might be in our next trailer. We have to see. But yeah, there will be a kick-ass soundtrack, of course, for you guys to download.
Okay, there was a quick addition here. Now we probably have to. I mean, let's see how we go here. So, what do you guys have? Yeah, I mean, as we said, we have a pretty dope sound artist already on the team. He's making some really cool stuff.
So, may I ask, jump on this one from Stinky?
Yeah, sure.
So basically, 12k is dollars, so it's like 9,000 euros. It's not a lot of money at all. Basically, the minimum wage, if you, for example, full-time clean toilets, is like 1,600, 1,000, I think 1,600 brut, before tax. So yeah, this is not a lot of money, and dedicated and professional game artists get like a daily rate from up to 650 euros. This is crazy. If I work for animations, my daily rate will be like 250 bucks, like euros. So it's around $300 for a daily rate. Steve is way higher after his experience, because he's like super experienced Maya artist, TD, worked on Hollywood movies. This is skyrocketing. So to have a certain kind of quality, it's not enough, but we have like good connections. We know a lot of people from the industry, so we had also our team from before, and we have like options to make it happen with this 12K already to a certain extent, but it's not enough for the long run. So we're thinking about other options as well.
We're basically juggling right now with the tasks and everything. I mean, I think Chris too, but I made, even though the Patreon is giving us $12K, which sounds like a lot to a single person, when the money arrives here, it gets split up by several people, and people like the individual obviously doesn't get 12K. And when I quit my job in London, I actually sacrificed a big chunk of income that I would be making right now compared to what we're making now, or I personally am making now. So the money right now is, at least for us personally, not a concern in regards to what we're making. All we get from Patreon, we're investing back to make the project as awesome as possible. And that's basically our biggest priority right now, with whatever money we can get to make a game work. Obviously, we could easily eat up 100K a month and still, not make a lot of money individually. Just put it in the project, pay more people, pay more time, just to get the game good. So yeah, 12K is like nothing for developing a AAA game like that one that we want.
So yep, but like I said before, we have like a lot of friends who worked on big titles, same as we did, and now are, because Wildlife is supposed to be like one of the big titles in the porn game section. Yeah. But yeah, it's tough, but we making good progress.
Yeah, we're making progress. We have plans how we will proceed from and with the money we have, and yeah, it's basically gonna take shape. Hilarious, thank God, no lolly footer though. Yeah, sure, man. It seems like you're on the same track then.
Yep.
Hendrik asked, in the open world, will there be different seasonal biomes, environments like forest, winter, snow, mountains? Yes. Currently, the world is supposed to be quite temperate, which means we will have a sandy desert, a rocky canyon, savanna and grasslands, and then a more dense green forest, and a swampy region. Snowy mountains, I don't see that, especially not if you consider we live in a 8 by 8 kilometer patch of land, and then you fit those extremes in. That's probably not going to make too much sense. Um, but yeah, all of these more like African environments, it's basically all planned to be in there.
Okay, so where we are now.
Stella asks if the Christmas build is going to be released when, basically.
Tomorrow.
Yeah,
But
ideally tomorrow.
yep,
We
we
are
will.
aiming for tomorrow.
Yeah. So depending on how long we say, because there's still some stuff to do. So I want to make us restricted. Okay, this is not for us. Labor of love. Insane how much I'm upon getting. Not spoiled. To Tafo 91. We had this topic several times. Not for now. We have to seriously consider it. Like after we have passed our Goldmaster, our first full release. Jokes, weapons, yeah, of course. We actually plan on in like putting a lot of Easter eggs and jokes to like current and old school games.
I mean, for example, one that you might have seen already in our previous builds is, there's a cucumber lying around. Cucumbers is food, so you technically would eat them, but in the game you can also use it to, please yourself as a woman. So those kinds of little funny things will obviously be all over the place in the game, as much as we find doable and funny things to add.
So maybe this will be as a character, Pickle Rick. We don't know yet.
Yeah.
So it's actually a humanoid cucumber.
Yeah. Gonna create some. Will the Christman builds require the one touch controllers or just HMD enough? Now, for now, we've been developing it with the motion controllers, because the development for motion control or other things is completely different. So we spent our whole time now working for motion controls. So yeah, I can't really say if we will make just for the headsets a thing that you can then work with there. Maybe, but I'm not sure.
All right. The ones Patreon curious said this is a Christmas build. All right, so basically everyone asked the questions. We would like to have maybe some feedback of you guys, maybe what you think about the Q&A we just did, also about the general stuff you've seen so far. So feel free to just bash in everything which is on your mind.
Yeah. Okay, let's. This game will be semi-lighthearted. Yeah, it will be. It will be an interesting mix between lighthearted humor and yet some serious story that you have to follow, that you can follow through, and be immersed in as much as we make it a possibility. But yeah, probably will not be like what's this game? Senua's Sacrifice, which is really dark. It's good, but incredibly dark. This would be very lighthearted for sure. A couple of people writing. Let's just see what they have to ask. And that's great. You guys answered everything honestly. I'm disappointed about the horses centers, but that's not your fault. Yeah, I mean, personally, I would love to add it. Maybe we find a way in the future, but right now we have to split to the rules of the money givers. And Patreon right now is a money giver, and you guys obviously. But this goes by the Patreon rules, so we have to play by them, and we will. Because without money, no game. Easy as that.
And yeah, like again, the risk of getting like cockblocked by Patreon is like too great.
Yeah.
So if we halfway through development, end of next year, and then suddenly like getting banned or anything else could kill everything. like in
Yeah.
terms of planning.
It's yeah, we just have to be incredibly fucking careful about that kind of stuff. Until maybe, you know, the company becomes millionaire and we have our own fundings and then we can do our own shit. But that's pretty much way up in the future. Not something that we want to think about right now.
Um, so the bestiality, Stinky. This is the thing. So I would say no, but maybe if everything is a little bit more liberate, and for example, Steve, because this is still this game. Even we want to create more games in the future. This game is Steve's baby, and there's a way. And Steve, actually, like he said before, he would like to edit, and there is a way to edit without blowing up the whole thing. I think it will be. So this is just we just can't answer it at this point. There's just no way, because if you look back a few years, there were no nipples in the television. Now it's like fucking soft porn 24/7. So everything gets more liberate, and yeah, we have to go with the flow here.
Yeah. But I mean, just so you know, Stinky, personally, I'm on your side. It's just, yeah, the future will tell, basically. That's it. Raster 1990, any characters of the female characters off the fuckable list? I wouldn't know why we would have any of the female characters off the fucking fuckable list. Same with like the male characters. Why?
Exactly.
Like, it's Wildlife is an adult game. You will be fucking everyone in the game.
As male or as female. Exactly. So it's up to the player to decide what he sees and what not.
Yeah. The QA was awesome, the art direction is awesome, the skin looks amazing, physics look really, really good so far, muscle stuff looks great. Thanks, man. Like to hear that. That's awesome.
Yeah, but like just to go to other areas, I mean, two horses having sex is a natural thing, right? I mean, they are pretty much fucking because they have a natural instinct to like breed, like not getting extinct. But having a woman fucked by a horse or male fucked by a horse is a different story for a lot of people. So
yeah, that's just that's a huge border that you cross there. That's a whole lot of the different story. One is just nature playing out. The other thing is something that doesn't happen normally.
But let's drop this because, like we said before, we can't address this topic properly right now because right now there are rules. There are like it's a legal side to it, especially if you want to like finish the game and also sell the game. So let's. I think there will be next QA, like more QAs in the future too. So maybe at some point this will be a valid question to consider. Let's see.
Yeah. Hendrik asked if there will be mod support for consumers. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. You can listen up on it in the recording once you put it up. But just to quickly give you a sum up, we would like to have it, but it's technically a really, really challenging thing. So it's a little bit lower on our to-do list, and it's a nice to have on our list. Which basically means it probably will not happen until 2019. Because we pretty much need to make a finished game first, or make the game feel finished, and then we can see what is actually the implications of making something like mod support and to what extent. So yeah, it's gonna be taking a while.
Okay, I just saw a question from Rasa. Will there be stackable enemies of? Will I be able to stack the bodies of my fallen enemies? This will be actually pretty nice. Maybe at some point you can build your own house to a certain kind, and you can collect body parts of enemy. We don't know, just for decoration. I mean, we also put the heads of deers as a hunter.
Yeah, I remember this.
Why not?
In Diablo 2, for those who know it or don't know it, you had like PvP, and when you defeat a PvP character, you could like collect his ear, and there were like really like quite motivated PvP players that would collect ears and have like stash tabs full of PvP ears. And something like that could be probably not to like this multiplayer extent because the game is still a single player thing, but I think collecting trophies from whoever you kill is certainly something that would add another level of depth to the game.
Yep, I mean, our vision is in the long run. I'm not talking about the 2018 release. I mean, in the long run, let's say we did 2020, we have like a few episodes released. The game, the content is really big, and then we want to have the people busy in the game, right? So, like housing and stuff like this. This would be super cool to have in game, like kind of sandbox approach within like the game with its limits. So yeah, we have to see. I mean, we have already a lot of ideas. We see a lot of ideas on our Patreon page and messages we get. So if if we can make it, we sure want to do it at some.
Yeah, cool. So it looks like the questions the question stream has stopped, and I actually need to head off pretty soon myself here. Any thought on some kind of multiplayer? Yeah, we mentioned that before, not for this project, maybe for the next one in a couple of years. That's pretty much it. But yeah, so this is all recorded. If you have any questions, or if you bumped in later, just make sure to check out the recording. A lot of questions have been asked, and I'm pretty sure we answered all of them to like the extent that you guys would have liked to. For now, from my part and from Gui's part as well, thank you very much for coming and for asking all of these cool questions. And always feel encouraged to reply to our Patreon posts and post whatever idea, question, complaint, whatever you have. Just post it, and we read all the comments. And you know, if there's something that you guys write that we want to take personally and take like just work out something out for that, we will do that. We will definitely read all your stuff and consider everything you say. So yes, Hendrik says the thing. Merry Christmas, guys, and yeah, expect the VR Christmas thing tomorrow.
Exactly. So yeah, it was a pleasure. Like Steve said, if you have ideas or feedback, feel free to send it to us. And starting in January, if this is the aim, to start frequent build updates again.
Yeah. Just a quick extra side note, as Guri said, we will have in the future more of these Q&A sessions, so I think the server will stay. But it's not gonna be a hub where we will be looking into unless we have events like this happening. So for anything else, use the Patreon page itself, or if you are on that, our internal wildlife Discord from the Patreon page. Or interact with Gui or me, or in any other way you can find us. We're on Tumblr, Twitter, whatever. Cool. Okay, do you have anything more to add? Else I would be jumping off. Did we just lose Gui?
Ah, my fucking headset it's muted itself. I was talking too much.
Oh shit.
It doesn't like. Yeah. It was really great. It was fun. Yeah, next Q&A. We will announce a little bit more early, maybe because it was our first time, so we had like get some idea how we make it next time a little better. So maybe we can like earlier think about questions, or we gather these questions. We have to see, but we will announce a little bit earlier. So maybe in February or March we have the next one.
Yeah. All right, guys. Then I say again, thank you, and have a very good Christmas and remaining festive season. And until next time.
Bye bye.
Jo.
Jo. So, ich glaube, es war auch